Alright guys, in this video we're looking at Abyssal Charge. This is an artifact mod with this season, and essentially what it does is allows void melee kills to empower you and make you charge with light. Now we are pairing this up with the Synthoceps and top tree Sentinel because it just seems like a very obvious pairing. Obviously Synthoceps give you increased melee lunge range and increased damage when surrounded, and top tree Sentinel gives you an overshield when you get a melee kill. So the way it goes is you get a melee kill, you get an overshield, and you're charged with light, and you have Swashbuckler times 5 because both of our weapons, yes that's right, both of our weapons have Swashbuckler on them. So here's a quick overview of the setup. You can see we've got Abyssal Charge on the Synthoceps, then we have Defensive Strike, locked and loaded. Don't forget about biotic enhancements by the way. Defensive Strike giving you so many buffs, increased reload, melee damage, and an overshield. High energy fire on our legs for increased damage, and then we've got Swashbuckler on our False Promises auto rifle and on our Emperor's Courtesy shotgun. Now before we get into the gameplay, we do have a quick word from today's sponsor. Shadow Legends is available both on mobile and PC and is free to play, and for a turn-based RPG with this much depth and things to chase, it is pretty incredible that this game is in fact free to play. One of the things I want to focus on in this video are the factions within Raid Shadow Legends. There are many of them. My favourite would be the Dark Elves. I have managed to secure myself 2 epic attack champions from the Dark Elf faction. We've got Delver, which actually featured in my last Raid Shadow Legends video, and we also have Luria. They're both epic attack champions from the Dark Elf class, but I have aspirations to acquire a legendary champion from the Dark Elf faction, and it would be this one right here, Visix the Unbowed. She is a legendary defense champion, and my end game and what I'm aspiring to at the moment is to try and get my hands on this champion. I think she would finish off my team compilation and be very powerful. And this month, Raid has just released their biggest ever update. The main event here is the Doom Tower. It's a giant tower with 120 floors, a bunch of secret challenge rooms, and 12 seriously badass bosses to take on. On top of that, they're also releasing 14 new champions just in time for the holidays, along with a whole host of holiday events and tournaments. There's never really been a better time to start playing, and here's the best part. The Raid team are giving away a bunch of new free goodies, plus a super special champion to help get everyone started in the tower, Bulwark. He's absolutely awesome in Clan Boss, and he's also going to be a huge help in the tower against those bosses. All the schedule will be waiting for you here, and don't miss out. Don't forget guys, these rewards are only available for the next 30 days and only for new players. And it's that easy, just click the link in the description and I'll see you in game. Alright, still with me? You make it through our lovely sponsor? Fantastic. So here we go, we are into a match on Rusted Lands, and this is the opening clip, and it really just sums up what this perk and this build is all about. You secured that melee kill, you become charged with light, you have an overshield, and you have Swashbuckler times 5. This is incredibly powerful guys. Stacking charge with light with Swashbuckler is just so good, and being able to do it almost every time you get a melee kill is frankly quite incredible. Top tree Sentinel, obviously I made a video a couple of days ago talking about how Behemoth Titan makes this subclass feel a little bit useless, but I'm not going to lie with you. Abyssal Charge Synthoceps is quite monstrous, even if you can't slide around and jump 100 feet in the air or fly around with your melee knocking people off to Jupiter. You know, it's not the same, but my goodness is this powerful within its own right. I really have been leaning more and more towards Synthoceps since the introduction of Behemoth whenever I do play on Sentinel, just because I feel like that increased melee lunge range is kind of like increased movement in of itself, if that makes sense. You can see there, we're just running in, fisting people, getting biotic enhancements, getting Swashbuckler times 5, getting charged with light, getting an overshield from our melee kill, getting our health back, getting increased reload speed from Defensive Strike, and also getting melee kills whilst you have an overshield active gives you a massive chunk of melee energy back. Therefore, if you're getting loads of punch kills, you'll be getting plenty of melee energy, and you'll basically never be short of a charged melee in order to proc charge with light and of course Swashbuckler. The damage you're doing is just so incredibly powerful, and of course when you throw Ward of Dawn in there as well, you're just talking about an uptime of increased damage for basically the entire game. Obviously it's not always easy to get melee kills, you can get shut down sometimes by shotgunners, but you can also just jump in there and get some pretty nice kills. As you can see, we just got a Ghost in the Night medal, which is pretty nice considering how much meleeing we're doing. But also the False Promises auto rifle is a high impact auto rifle that came back into the loot pool just a couple of weeks ago. Obviously this was an Umbral Engram weapon, and it is a pretty damn good gun, I'm not gonna lie. It has good sights, it has decent base stats, and of course our role has Swashbuckler, so we are getting massive amounts of damage. Here with Charge with Light, we did a lot of damage to that Dawnblade, We probably should have backed up though, because we were close to running out of medals. However, the game did get mercied, so that's kind of all she wrote for this one. And I'm pretty sure I got basically all the kills for my team. This is a very, very interesting scoreboard you're about to see. I'm not gonna lie. Let's take a look at the scoreboard real quick. I have 25 defeats, and the guy second to me apparently has 2 defeats. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Maybe this lobby will be a little bit more competitive. So here we go, we are on Burning Shrine, throwing a grenade into that typical choke point. No one's pushed out just yet. This is just my luck. When no one pushes that grenade, I'm going to slide out and then someone's going to shoot me in the side. That's what happens every time. Okay, it didn't happen this time. Getting some shots on. There we go, Swashbuckler ×1. For melee, this guy will be at ×5 and charge with light. Now, the next person that challenged me is going to get obliterated, basically, because I'm hitting like over 48, I think if you have Swash and charge with light, I think this gun does 52 to the head, which is obviously 4 crits to kill. The time to kill is obviously absolutely disgusting. And I'm not going to lie, having both my guns with Swashbuckler is really quite something, because no matter what happens, if I secure a melee kill, whichever gun I happen to have out at the time, it's just going to be packing so much more of a punch. Now, if we're talking about the Empress Courtesy shotgun, some of you may not know what this shotty is. It is the Crown of Sorrow raid shotgun. This was back in Season of Opulence when the Crown of Sorrow raid was the main raid. This shotty is actually pretty damn good. Big argument that this is actually better than the CQC shotty. It can roll some really interesting rolls. Mine obviously has quick draw, swashbuckler, full choke, and assault mag. It is a very, very good roll. We've got tighter pellet spread, we've got increased rate of fire, we have increased damage from swashbuckler, and we have instant draw time with quick draw. So it's a fantastic roll, and it obviously complements my false promises with swashbuckler pretty damn well. Now, granted, you can do this loadout with any guns with swashbuckler, not swashloader. So, for example, I have a steady hand with swashbuckler. Now, I was initially going to do a steady hand, but I feel like 120 RPM hand cannons are very much, you know, they've very much been a talking point of this season, and people are seeing them everywhere in PvP. I thought I would show something a little bit different with the false promises, with it being a 360 RPM auto rifle archetype similar to Halfdan D. I thought it'd be something a little bit different to showcase this weapon. But the cool thing with this build is, because you've got swashbuckler ×5 and you get charged with light on a melee kill thanks to Abyssal charge, basically any gun you use will feel pretty damn lethal with this setup. Granted, 360 RPM auto rifles do a lot of damage from the get-go, so obviously, you know, this kind of weapon paired up with these sorts of perks and damage buffs is going to be filthy. The same goes for steady hand though. I think at one point I was charged with light and it has swashbuckler ×5, and I think I was hitting 165 to the head with the steady hand, allowing me to 1 head and 1 body, which in its own right is just absolutely disgusting. But I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed pulling out something a little less used in the false promises and just popping off. The gun is just pretty damn good, I can't lie. Like aggressive playstyle, we got shut down there. It can happen. If I had an overshield there, I may have lived. I would have had biotic enhancements. A side note, if you guys are new players and you don't know this, so I'm using biotic enhancements on the Synthoceps, right? That's the exotic perk on the exotic. So what does it do? It gives you increased lunge, we all know that. But also, when you're surrounded by 3 players or more, you activate the perk biotic enhancements for extra melee damage. And if you have defensive strike active and you have biotic enhancements active, you will one-hit melee any guardian. And even a super, if you were to melee a super, you'd do almost all their health. It's incredibly powerful, and it's not something I've used a great deal in the past year or two. I've not really been using Synthoceps. I've been using One-Eyed Mask, June Marches, and Teus Wards. Obviously, in year 1 of Destiny 2, I use Synthoceps a lot. That's why in my kill statistics, I probably have around 30 to 40,000 melee kills a lifetime, and 30,000 of those melee kills came in year 1 of D2, when all I used was Synthoceps, and I would just barrel into people and melee them to death. And I'm not gonna lie, it's enjoyable to use the Synthos. It's been a long time for me, and as I mentioned earlier, they feel like the best exotic to run now on Sentinel due to that movement disparity with, you know, Behemoth. So yeah, Behemoth can slide 50 million miles away from you, but hey, listen man, at least now I've got those Dalsim arms, you know, that can just fucking punch people a million miles away from me too. So that's obviously really nice, and I do think it's actually now the best exotic for Sentinel. Don't get me wrong, June Marches are still fantastic. One-Eyed Mask is One-Eyed Mask, but like I said, if you're up against a Behemoth Titan and you're a Sentinel, having Synthoceps in your armory is probably going to save you more than something like Dune Marchers, because let's face it, the regular Dune Marcher slide on its own is nothing compared to the Cryoclasm slide. It really isn't. Obviously as well, you know, not being able to break crystals and not being able to counter something like a Dust Field Grenade is very frustrating. I do think Ward of Dawn is still a good counter to the most common Stasis Super in the Crucible, which obviously would be the Squall, or whatever it's called, the Hunter one. Bubble Titan actually counters that really well, so you know there are some positives to using Sentinel. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing it. Also guys, we do have a Trials of Fun Police video coming. I know a lot of my old time subscribers really look forward to those videos, but this time it's with a twist. We're a little bit icier in this week's Trials of Fun Police video. It's going to be a good one. We had a lot of good plays on Bannerfall, and you know, anytime we did use Sentinel in that video, we were using this build. So let me just tell you, this isn't just a fun build for a video. This is a top tier build in the Crucible, and if you are a Sentinel main, I would definitely consider taking this one out for a spin. Guys, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.